I just knew I had found my person.
I can only imagine when like we're 80, he's gonna be like those sexy 80-year-old stud muffin with like sexy gray hair and stuff like that. Like he's gonna be younger because he's gonna be so youthful and like a vibe.
She's the only reason why people get offered drinks or a snack when they come over to our place.
I love those.
But I have started asking.
How did you meet and what attracted you to each other?
We met on Instagram and Facebook. We added each other at some point because we have the same bone disorder, which is osteogenesis imperfecta type 3. He would go viral every now and then because, like, I mean, who wouldn't, looking like this? I mean, he's awesome. He's a music producer. He does a lot of stuff. So I was like, oh, wow, this guy's really cool. He's like always doing like the coolest things. One random evening, he was live on Instagram. I was like, oh, he's hilarious too. I was like, wow. He saw me comment on his live and he's like, oh, you look familiar. I think we're friends on Facebook. I'll send you a message when I get off Instagram Live. He immediately gave me his phone number. And I'm like, oh, that's really straightforward. I'm like, okay, I guess. This guy right here was very flirtatious.
I am autistic, so I did not realize that I was necessarily flirting with her. Also, being socialized as a woman, there's different ways that you interact with women. I was 3 weeks into my medical and social transition.
You memorizing all of my favorite things and calling me beautiful.
And she is beautiful. Obviously, there was a transition, no pun intended, to when I was making my moves, you know. But at first, that was not my plan, okay? It just happened to work out. She had this profile picture.
You always have a
Yes, she had this profile picture, and she was giving it her all, you know. I could tell.
Like I said, I was single, and I was like...
Yeah, so she was looking real good, and I was like, dang.
So this is my like first queer relationship. I had friends from middle school to high school that they were all part of like the LGBTQ plus community. I'm bisexual, but because I lived in a very strict household, I couldn't even have a boyfriend, let alone imagine if I want to take a girl to prom. I kind of like came out, air quotes, to my friends, and they're like, girl, we knew. And I was like, what do you mean? And they're like, yeah, like we knew you would have like a crush on this lady or so and so, and we could tell you just don't care about like gender. My first like clubbing experience and going to bars experience was in LGBTQ plus bars, seeing drag queens and things like that. I felt like at home. When I was at home, I didn't feel like home because I felt like I had to hide those things about me, which I didn't always feel like I was really showing who I was. He didn't really come out to me. He would just casually say things like, oh, I gotta take my testosterone today, or oh, I'm buying a binder, and I'm like, oh. So I guess he transitioned from the last videos that I saw, and I was like, okay, whatever.
My experience as a trans person has been different, especially with being disabled. The trans part is the least interesting thing about me, and it's not really what people see. A lot of people see the fact that I'm a little person, a full-time wheelchair user. I always say I have a grab bag of disabilities. I do have a privilege in that, especially with disability, which is where it helps, because a lot of people are not threatened by my presence when it comes to my transness, which has been a shield for me in a lot of spaces.
Can you describe a little bit what it felt like falling in love with each other?
I'll go first because I fell in love first. Yeah. Falling in love, it honestly felt like I was falling off a building and not knowing if I was going to land on a soft spot or like just crash and burn. This being my first serious relationship. In relationships, you don't know what's gonna happen. You don't know how things are always gonna turn out.
Before him, I've had more dating experiences. To me, it's fortunate and unfortunately. I guess people would say like lover girl. When I dedicate myself to someone, like I go all in,
Our first conversation was 2 hours.
and
Yeah,
I immediately felt comfortable with you.
exactly. So
That's why I didn't notice
I
the
knew.
time. Yeah. When I started talking to him, it just felt very natural, as if like at some point we've known each other in the past or something like that. And people might think, oh, y'all got close because of you both have the same bone disorder, but actually that wasn't even something that we talked about at the beginning.
I got her a promise ring like 4 months in, and I remember the Pandora associates probably being like, that's pretty. Like,
They're like 4 months.
4 months. Good
They're like,
luck,
okay.
buddy. When you have a connection with someone that you just really can't explain, you just go with it. I didn't really overthink it.
He helps me pick up the pieces that I can't carry and vice versa. Not only are we like romantically together and a couple, but I feel like we're also very like best friends and family.
There was a lot of trust that had to happen for both of us. I flew to see her twice.
From Georgia to
From
Kansas
Georgia
City,
to
Missouri.
Kansas City. That was my first time ever flying on a plane by myself to see someone that wasn't a family
I was
member.
like, ooh, he loves me.
Yeah, I just knew I had found my person, and I was good with that. I was like, yep, this is where I'm at. I'll stay here and make myself at home. So,
And you did when you first visited me.
yep.
It's a love that I've never experienced with anyone. Like loving just everything about him. He deserves like everything and so much more.
What is something you absolutely love about the other person?
I love how he doesn't know a stranger, which I think is a beautiful quality. It can be the most random person on the street. He goes up to them and cracks a joke with them or compliments them no matter who they are after that interaction. Their body posture and everything changes of like, wow, like I am cool, or like I was seen today. When he has complimented like older women, sometimes they said, wow, I haven't been told I'm beautiful in a very long time. Or they'd be like, oh, I'm too old or whatever. And they're like, no, you're not. Like, I thought you were 21, girl. It makes them feel so special. And he does that naturally.
Thank you. She's very empathetic towards people and pretty logical, and have had to really work on how to connect in that way. I am very solution forward. She just has a lot of love for people that she's ready to share. She just has a very a quietness about her, because I'm a very loud and expressive person.
Which I love because I'm not like that.
That's a really beautiful quality to a person, to just be able to exist and still shine without having to do a lot.
Do you all have any pet names for each other, nicknames?
I call Pamela Mariposita, which means little butterfly in Spanish, and she really loves butterflies. I even said that in our vows.
I sometimes would get shy in front of his parents, like calling him babe, because I'm like, I don't know, like, I don't know, I was like nervous.
I also call her Baby Love, which just evolved. Yeah, that just evolved because Pamela is very big on pet names and I wasn't, so that was my compromise. And
It's a cultural thing.
yeah, no,
Because
I don't know
in
if it's
Mexican culture, every family member gets a nickname.
but we have a lifetime, so I'll be able to think of.
Yeah, it
somewhere.
changes with time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I compliment him a lot in Spanish, and like guapo, which is handsome. I call him hermoso cariño. It's a beautiful phrase, which is like gorgeous sweetheart. You know, it's a very like lovey type of wording, and it's also one of my favorite Mexican songs as well. And it was at our wedding. I call him papi sometimes, which is daddy in Spanish. The only time we call each other like our name, which is like Jay and Pamela, it's like, oh, it's something serious? Cutie and Pookie and oh, that's like Willy W stuff.
If your partner was an animal, what would they be and why?
You'd be something like Fluffy. Like a cute little panda. Because he loves like candy and snacks. And you know how like pandas, when they chew on their like food and bamboo, and they look like they're having like the best time of their lives, and they're like fluffy and like kicking their feet while they're eating. That reminds me of you, like, you know, fluffy and cute, like eating.
I think you'd be one of those like Sphinx cats. I just feel like they're elegant. Like they're like,
Okay, so I'm a bougie cat.
yeah, they're like classy. They're like some
Is
classy
it because
cat.
of my nails?
Yeah, no, they're just classy. Like they're not doing too much. Like you don't, you know. I'm not saying you're hairless or hairy or anything.
No, I
But
was
I'm just
expecting
saying-
you to like an animal that's like really fast.
I think that like you have a really nice presence for Tricks. I think
Oh,
of
that's so sweet.
a Sphinx cat,
That's so cute.
but not hairless.
No,
but
I
not
know.
also not hairy. But like,
That's okay. I know what you mean.
like,
If your partner had a superpower, what would it be?
Sometimes you have trouble with like social cues and stuff. Maybe just reading people's mind, so you can know like you don't gotta think too hard.
yeah, that would be helpful.
I was trying to find something that would be helpful for you.
If you had a superpower, I feel like you already do, really. I think your superpower is just the way that you love people, you know? I think,
Oh, you're so sweet. I took the question very literal. I was like, oh, like Spider-Man. I like Superman.
yeah, I think that's your superpower. And then you're a superhero to me. I feel like you're very strong. And,
So Wonder Woman.
yeah, you have a lot of qualities, even better than Wonder Woman.
Oh, you are too. That's so sweet.
What does the idea of getting old mean to you? And together?
That's very deep. Now that like I am in my 30s and I feel like my 30s are better than my 20s, maybe because he makes my life easier and we just recently got married, I'm excited that I'm getting older more than what professionals thought. And then also just like experiencing more life together, rather it's like going to somewhere new, like a different place in the world. And also the person that I met back in 2019, he has changed so much and in so many great ways, and I'm like, wow, like he's aging just so beautifully. Like, this is already great. I can only imagine when like we're 80 and he's gonna be like those like sexy 80-year-old stud muffin with like sexy gray hair and stuff like that. Like they're gonna always think he's gonna be younger because he's gonna be so youthful and like a vibe.
Thank you. I'm looking forward to that one. Being able to even see me at a point of a relationship, because I always thought I was going to be one of those people that just like went to people's weddings but never got married myself. Growing older is a blessing because my mentor, Simon, when he passed away, that was like one of the hardest moments that I had in my life because he had the same condition as us. It did give me a lot of fear. However, more than that, it gave me a lot of purpose. I told myself that I wasn't going to be scared and I would just like live my life to the fullest. Getting older is a blessing for us, especially medically and statistically speaking, especially in the beginning of our relationship, but then as it got more serious, there was a part that grieved that, not knowing if you're just gonna get 10 or 15. And when you find someone that is your person, it feels unfair to say that you don't know if you're gonna get that same story of 50 years like you see other people, and a lot of people take for granted being able to have that with somebody, and how people talk about their partners and like, oh, I'm so happy when I'm not around them, and oh man, they like get on my nerves and stuff like that.
Or like y'all are newlyweds, that honeymoon phase will end, and
Yeah, everybody's really on borrowed time, but you just feel that you're on more borrowed time, which is why I am just such a big proponent in making sure that we make the best of the time that we have and whatever that looks like. That's why it's just so important to celebrate everything, even the little things. A lot of people may not know about Pamela and I being on television and reality TV, and I was a little bit nervous about that whole experience just because you're putting your whole life out there. And one of the components of talking about my transness publicly on our show, Jay and Pamela, and coming out on national television is wild.
on a popular network, TLC.
Yeah.
And the show is literally our names. That's like very vulnerable.
I'm just super grateful to even be a part of a project like this to talk about my transness and being deemed as someone that's a valuable person in this space, because I'm very, very proud to be a transgender, and I'm very proud of the incredible people that have come before me and will come after me. We're beautiful people and we contribute so much to society. There's just so much love and so much there. How beautiful of a community that we truly are.